In the last video, we have discussed about how you can write a test case for if you will make any changes from the HTML, then same thing need to be reflected in component for the reactive form. So similar, the opposite kinds of thing we will do in this particular next test case. So how you can do? So you can do, you have to access a component instance first. So here I will write a fixture. Let's create a component. So how you can create? Let component is equal to fixture dot component instance. This one, this component instance means this component have all of the method and property which is available in the component. So now you have to use the init form, and then as you know that if you want to update your form, then what you have to do? Okay, if you want to update a form, then there is a two method provided by the reactive form. One is the set value and another one is a patch value. So if you will write a set value, then all of this field you have to provide their values for all of this field. So right now I am going to use the set value. You can use a patch value as well. These both are using to update a form field. So I am updating with the help of this set value method. Now in this set value we have to provide all we have to set a value or update a value for each of this form field. Okay, so let's write it a user, and another one is the password. So for the user I am going to add one name which is worldgyan.com, something like that, and then password will be randomly I am putting the password, something like that. Now I have added the username and password, user and password for each of this field. Now I am going to check the same thing is reflecting in HTML part or not. Okay, now I have updated the form field. This need to be changed at the HTML level as well. So we will check it. So how we can check it? It's very simple. It's a very easy. In the last video we have discussed how you can access a template URL. So with the help of the template URL means HTML part, so you can use the debug element, native element, and then query selector, and you can select a particular section and you will able to access the thing. Okay, so I am going to, because I am going to check what the value you are getting at the HTML. So the same thing you have to do here. So with the help of the query selector I selected each of this field which is the user and password. Now after that just write it console and log and check that the same thing is reflecting or not. So means if you will update a value with the help of the component in the component section with the help of the set value, and same thing need to be changed at the HTML level. So let's write value. So let's check what the value you are getting after changing, and let's check it here. So you can see you got here the world gyan. It means it is working absolutely fine. So you can, now you are getting. So now add it in the expect, and here if you will use this dot value, and then here it will be 2b. 1 second, it cannot be like this value, it will be yeah, it's fine, we can write value as well, then user. and then to be user dot value. So let's see it is working or not. Same thing we will do for the password as well. And then here it will be value. So I hope you are getting my point. Let's check that test case is getting passing or not. So you can see that test case is passing. You can see there is the app component, and there are two test case. One is the test reactive form, check changes from component to HTML, it gets passed, and another one is a check changes from HTML to component. So right now you have seen that if test case will pass, then there will be in this color, but if it will get failed, then how you are getting the data. So let's make it fail. How you are uh, in how it will be shown. So you can see now, because I have provided the incorrect information, this case this get failed. So I am expecting these values need to be matched with this user, but it's not matching. So that's why here you can see this test case get failed. In the 7 specs, one failure. So the failure is in the app component, test reactive from, check changes from component to HTML. So I hope you able to get it. If the test case will get failed, then how it will be look like. Now write one more test case, which is if you will make any changes for the user and password, and if you will click the button, then this method submit method will get triggered. It means this will get invoked. So what will happen, it will check first, it will check that form is valid or not. If form is valid, means it is according to the pattern and based on validation, if this will return a true, then it will call the API. Okay, it will call one method from the API service, and it will, after that it will return value. So whatever value it will return, I am storing in this data. So what I am going to test it here, that if you will make any changes from the HTML and if you click the button, then in the data, if form is valid, then in the data you will get a data returned by this service method, which is the post data. So you can see that here it is get returned, means it is returning, of course, observable have one data, which is a status and other details. So basically that's why you are subscribing and collecting the data and storing in the data variable. So you will check this data variable, that what the thing you are getting if form is valid. So I hope you get a clarity. Now let's write a test case for that. So again the pattern will be same. I am going to write here the eat method, and then this is the information, means for what you are going to for what, means you would have to add one message, that why you are going to, or for what unit test case you are going to write. So let's say if form submit successfully. Okay, now here will be the callback. So in the callback, basically I am going to copy these things, because it will be very similar, including this dispatch event. So just I have copied form submit the form successfully. Then a similar thing you have to write for the submit button. So write it here, the submit, and ID will be the submit same, which you can see there is a ID which is a submit. So now you have selected these things, and then one more thing, it will not like always you will able to select with the help of the query selector. Okay, you can use the get element by ID or maybe other thing you can use. So the main funda is to select a particular element so that you can do certain thing. You can change their value, you can make certain event, so you can do all these things. Okay, so let's click the submit dot click. This click, once this will get clicked, then again we can write it from the disk here as well. Okay, so you can click from here as well, there is no issue. And again this is for the submit, so write it here. Now I will recommend that here you can add a dispatch event, because whenever any new changes will be occurred, then that changes need to be reflected. So if you will use the change detection, then Angular will make the changes, detect the changes, and they will internally manage the state. So yeah, so here I am going to write fixture dot detect change, something like that. Now this is done. So console log and check what the data you are getting if the form field is valid. So you can see the form seems valid, so it's all right. So do a console log and check what the data you are getting. So I am just adding the fixture dot component instance dot data. So the value, basically if this method will get this submit method will get successfully, it means this if this form field is valid, then from the API service this post data will get triggered, and this will return something. Okay, so whatever it is returning you are storing in the data. So I am going to check that what value you are getting in this particular data. So let's see. So you are getting invalid undefined, because you have to do a click event here before dispatching the event. And let's see what will be the data. Now you can see that you have to wait. Again you are getting the undefined. But why not check that this is valid or not? I think username is not valid. This should be in the small. So let's write Angular. Let's check once again. You are getting a correct data or not. So now you can see you are getting a data which is the status is 20 and something like that. So basically you are getting a data, not the real data. It means it is not returning a data from this post data. It is getting returned from this particular spy object. Okay, so if you will write here the, let's say 204, then and then here suppose let's write 1 and then 1, you will see the data which is this one. So let's wait. So now you can see this is a 204, the same thing which is you are getting which you have defined here. So now instead of returning the real data, it is returning the data which you have specified. This is just a mock or duplicate. So you have created a duplicate of this particular service. So I hope you understand. In the next video we will try to discuss the another test case. Thank you very much.